Logging into QuickBooks Online is usually pretty simple, but there is one common thing that can kind of trip people up. So let's go ahead and talk about it before you get frustrated. Most of the time, logging into QuickBooks Online only requires two pieces of information: the email that you used to create your QuickBooks Online account and your password. That's it, in theory. But here's where things can get a little bit tricky. If you have ever used any Intuit product before, and I mean ever, your email may already be associated with an Intuit account. Now, Intuit owns a whole host of products in addition to QuickBooks, and these include TurboTax, Credit Karma, MailChimp, and Lacert, which is the professional version of TurboTax for tax preparers. So, what happens if we try to log in and it says that our email is already associated with an account? Quite simply, that means that Intuit already knows us from another product we used somewhere in the past. It's important to note at this point that the issue with logging in isn't usually the email, it's the password. Let's say that you used TurboTax to file your tax return in 2016 and then never logged in again. Well, I know for sure I wouldn't personally remember that password, and it's likely you don't either. So at this point, the best thing we can do is go ahead and just try to reset our password. If you're setting up a brand new QuickBooks Online login and you have the option, I definitely recommend using an email that you know for sure is not associated with any prior Intuit accounts. This is why it's a really good idea to have a company email when you go to set up a business QuickBooks account. It avoids trying to figure out your old logins and doing password archaeology to try to figure out what you used in the past. Also, it's always a good idea to add your phone number for dual factor authentication, and I'm going to show you why in just a moment. Alright, so in order to log into QuickBooks, we would first want to go to the QuickBooks Online login page. Now you can do this from any browser simply by typing in QuickBooks Online Login into the search bar or into Google here. The first option that comes up is the actual QuickBooks Intuit home page. And while it does say QuickBooks Login, you actually do have to jump through an additional hoop at this point to get to the official login page. So what we would do is we would go up to the upper right-hand corner here and then select QuickBooks Online to sign in. This takes us to the honest-to-goodness QuickBooks Intuit login page. And if this is a page that you're going to be visiting frequently in the course of running your business, I do highly recommend bookmarking it to make accessing it a bit easier in the future. Now, from here, we would first want to select our company, and as you can see, I already have a company that I access in this particular browser profile. And this is my sample training company that I use for various things. So from here, we have several different options for how to log in and access our file. We can either provide the password, which is the standard approach, or we can go right down here to where it says text a code, and then it gives a phone number. We want to confirm that the last two digits are a phone that we have access to, and if they are, we can actually get a 6-digit code delivered to our phone instead of having to provide our password. Now, if you try your password once and can't get in, this can be a really great option. And it's another reason why it is very important to make sure that you're providing a phone number that you have good access to for the purposes of dual factor authentication. It does not just impact what you can do in your file, it can also help you sign in if you get stuck. Now, one other thing that you can do from this page is you can actually click this Forgot Password button, at which point you would go through the normal steps of resetting your password, including answering security questions. But since I know my password, I'm going to go ahead and just copy it right in here and then select Continue. And this will take me to my organization's dashboard right away. Okay. Now, the same thing actually would have happened if I had opted to have Intuit send me a code. They would have sent me a 6-digit code. I would have entered that code, and then voila, it would have taken me to my company dashboard. The good news and silver lining of going through this whole process is that it really should only be a one-time issue. Once you're in and have updated your password or done whatever it is you need to do to gain access to your account, you shouldn't have to do that on an ongoing basis. And if logging in is feeling harder than it should, you're definitely not alone. This is one of the more commonly searched questions about QuickBooks Online. So be sure to save this video for next time in case you run into any issues. I'm Holly, I'm the owner of Accrual Mistress Bookkeeping and Consulting. Thank you so much for watching, and please feel free to drop any questions in the comments below.